Good day, sir. Good day, classmate. I am Elegarle, and today I'm going to discuss about distance learning, or also referred to remote learning. Under Unit 3, Blended and Online Learning. This lesson, we will be tackle about what is remote learning and how does it works, then the benefits and the disadvantages of remote learning, and then the asynchronous and the synchronous learning at a distance, the examples of remote learning, and then the difference between remote learning from online learning, and then the summary of this discussion. Now let's proceed to the discussion. What is remote learning? Remote learning occurs when the learner and instructor or sources of information are separated by time and distance and therefore cannot meet in a traditional classroom setting. And information is typically transmitted via technology. Examples are the email, discussion boards, video conference, and audio bridge. So that no physical presence in the classroom is required. Otherwise, it would be hybrid or blended learning. So remote learning can occur synchronously and asynchronously, also referred to as distance education, virtual instruction, or remote training. How does remote learning work? So broadly, remote learning is typically structured in this way that the teacher establishes a virtual connection with their students through an online classroom program such as Google Classroom, Edmodo, and etc. So here, the teacher posts assignments, assigns readings, collects students' works, provides feedbacks, and more. So students log in daily to the virtual home base for a scheduled amount of time and complete assignments. So listen to lectures or participates in activities. So having a virtual home base is vital to the success of distant learning. So in addition, um, many teachers meet with their students and classes through video conferencing platforms like Zooms and Skype, meron sa Google Meet. So there is some teachers give entire lectures through the service, while some simply use it to check in students and ensure they're understanding the material. So ang Zoom or ang Google Meet is the application na ginagamit sa mga teachers to conduct their lectures among their students. So, diri man, ang ibang mga teachers, wala man sila nag-meet anytime, pero at the end of the semester, nag-meet sila para nga ma-check ang ilang students about the understanding about the materials. So now, let's proceed to the benefits and the disadvantages of remote learning or the effects of learning at a distance. And now let's proceed to the benefits or the advantages of remote learning. First, remote learning is a flexibility to choose. So distance learning courses also come with flexibility. So this varies by course structure though. For many courses, students set their schedules, they take classes in their preferred location. So second, adaptability and freedom. So instructors can tailor distance learning to suit students' diverse educational needs. So and it provides students with the freedom to learn anywhere at their own pace. It remains an adaptable learning form. And then the third one is the easy access. So attending traditional classes is possible for some. Yes, work and home life responsibilities can get in the way. So distance learning provides easy access to education. Students need a computer and an internet connection. And then earning while learning. So for those working full-time jobs, continuing education is once out of the picture. So today, though they can hone and update their professional skills. So distance learning provides the flexibility to do so in the evening and on the weekends. Schooling no longer has to come before a career. And the last one, self-inspiration. So motivated students excel in distancing learning access. So it encourages students to stay self-disciplined. When students take on greater personal responsibility, they must stay well organized, they must perform well in an online setting. So let's proceed to the disadvantages or problems of distance learning. So despite the promises and obvious advantages of distance learning, there are problems that need to be resolved. The first disadvantages of remote learning. So remote learning lacks social interaction. So since remote learning is well remote, opportunities to totally engage with your students on a personalized face-to-face basis are more challenging. So this lack of social interaction can be a donor for both students and teachers. And it can also stunt students' growth in areas such as social emotional learning, leadership, social skills, public speaking, and more. So in this way, remote learning models of education can be difficult to maintain students' accountability. For the second one, technology can be complicated and fickle. So we've all experienced those moments of utter frustration when technology simply does not work during moments when it must. So the dropped Wi-Fi services, the frozen computer, the disconnected printer. So remote learning is susceptible to many technological difficulties and disruptions, and they can be extremely frustrating to navigate as a teachers when you're in charge of hundreds of students. So, in today's generation or in today's ways of learning, hindi na maiwasan ang mga technological problem, or that's why nagaka-delay ang mga lectures kag ang mga webinars of the teachers. And distance learning can be distracting. So, since remote learning takes place primarily on the computer, it can be easy to get sidetracked or distracted by your favorite websites, online shopping news, notification, or emails. Or students can be easily distracted by different applications installed by their phone and computers. So, this can make remote learning difficult to keep up with at times, and it can also lead to a decline in the quality of student works. It says there that technology can decline in the quality of student works. So, nagkaka-delay ang alabrahon ng mga students because nga wala nila ginafokusan ang ilang lectures or ang ilang materials. Instead niya, nag-give sila time sa pag-open sa mga applications sa ilang mga cellphone. Example, ang Facebook, Messenger, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and etc. And this is also one of the disadvantages of remote learning. For the last one, remote learning does not allow for those particular moments in class, which makes teaching such a wonderful and rewarding profession. So, disadvantages siya kay hindi na ma-experience ng mga students ang mga moments nga na-experience nila sang face-to-face. Example, ang pag ano din, a joke that results in class-wide laughter. So, the collective sigh of relief expressed when the teachers postpone a quiz or test. So, or the look on a student's face when they finally grasp a concept. So, these are the moments that elevate teaching from a mere profession into something truly profound and rewarding. And unfortunately, these moments are few and far between in the world of online education. So, it's because wala na interaction, wala na collaboration between peers and students. So, may mga moments gid nga hindi na ma-experience na which make teaching such a wonderful and rewarding profession. After we've tackled about the benefits and the disadvantages of remote learning, let's move on to the asynchronous and synchronous learning from a distance. For synchronous experience, it is where students learn together at the same time. Technology is required, so whether it's computer, Chromebook, or tablet with internet access, or a mobile phone, and in this kind of learning, technology is a must for students and teachers to share learning experiences in real time. So in addition, meeting platforms like Zoom or Google Meet allows classes to gather and collaborate. And for the asynchronous experiences, it is where students learn on a more individual schedule. A learning management system like Canvas or Google Classroom allows for the organization of learning opportunities from a distance. So it's also a portal for students and teachers to interact and communicate when they're not in class. Furthermore, teachers can keep track of their students' progress and offer feedback. So for me, synchronous learning limits the students' ability to learn at their own pace. So it's because nga pressure ang students. Kaya sa muna nga learning, ginasunod gid ang schedule sang isa ka course. Mana. Example, may mga daily activities gid nga dapat obrahon, may deadline ang mga assignments, dapat ma-attend gid ang students sa lectures or sa mga conference. And then, nagkaka-pressure ang mga students. Doon ginalagas nila ang time nila. So, sa asynchronous naman niya is the teachers ma-post lang gid sa Google Classroom sang materials nga need tun-an sa mga students or ma-post lang sila sang assignments anytime. And then, the students will answer it or will submit their outputs anytime man. Dere, ginahatagan sang freedom ang mga students to learn pagid kaga to discover sa mga learnings. Now let's move on to the difference between remote learning and online learning. So remote learning and online learning agree often confused, and for good reason. So the two modes of education indeed possess many similarities, but there are few substantial differences that make the two models of learning quite unique for each other. So online learnings, of course, most of the adult level, where adult learners are working to earn a certification, develop a new skill, or work toward a degree. In this way, it typically tends to be more flexible than remote learning, so allowing for online learners to tune into lectures and online courses at their own time with uncertain deadlines. So, while remote learning, on the other hand, attempts to recreate the classroom environment as the student engages with their education through the computer and internet. Typically, the students follows a schedule similar to a typical in-person school day by logging into a virtual classroom to complete assignments, listen to lectures, or participate in group activities. So, both online and the remote learning are often confused because they are very, very similar. But remember that online learning often denotes a mode of education that is rooted firmly within the computer and the internet. Conversely, remote learning is what happens when in-person education must be moved online because of scheduling issues, sickness, or in our most current case, or the COVID-19 pandemic and disaster. Wrapping things up, what is remote learning and what we need to know? So, 2020-2021 school year is going to be one we've never experienced before, and it will likely include at least moments of remote learning. It is imperative that we as educators or we as the students understand remote learning through and through and are able to adapt to the world of virtual education. While remote learning can be socially stultifying, technologically frustrating, and distracting, it also opens doors for more people to get involved in education by making it more accessible and flexible, and it can work wonders for students who are more visual learners. It's not all bad. After all, many teachers found successes while working from remote classrooms this year. And with the advent of COVID-19, many schools turned towards some form of remote learning to carry out the school year. And it will likely remain in place for the time being. So that's all, guys, about distance learning, or also referred to remote learning. Hope you learned from these lessons, and hope this will give us an inspiration and an idea on how we cope up with these changes, especially in this time of pandemic. That's all, guys, and thank you.